Merlin was just a really good programmer.
Oh, yeah. He was a hacker.
Yeah. Well, you're obviously soulless, and you'll be purged from society when I rise to power and rain blood down from the skies and have a throne of skulls!
Hello and welcome to Surviving the Apocalypse the Nerd's Way. I'm John.
And I'm Adam.
And today we're going to talk about a bunch of different topics. Not least of these is going to be how the black holes work, which is something that Adam is going to talk about. The origin of antimatter.
I actually know how to talk about that.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, it's not on the pen. I was trying to get you out with that one.
Theoretical astrophysics and normal astrophysics and all that other fun stuff. I'm somewhat across.
Oh, okay.
But nonetheless, nice try, you filthy peasant. And that wasn't directed to the audience, that was directed at you. But it still counts, I'm fine with that.
Number one.
Acceptable.
As always, the count of how many times Adam calls people a peasant.
Yep, only
dear.
one
of these days you're going to learn your lesson. Clearly we're not hitting you hard enough with the bamboo stick.
Alright, so what do we got first, Johnny?
Well, let's talk about why you think that you don't want to die until 2020.
Well, I don't think, I know. I refuse to die until, well, approximately 2020. Now, the reason for this is simple. I have invested so much time, energy, love, hate, all these tumultuous emotions, which I hate feeling anyway, all towards the MCU. Right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh.
Yes. So, it all began with Iron Man, probably. And, it's going all the way up to, I think the current timeline is ending with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Whoops.
Oh, wow.
So, I refuse to die, though, however. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, don't get me wrong. However, everything's leading up towards Infinity War, Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Although I recently discovered they're changing the... it's not going to be Infinity War Part 2. They're changing it completely. I have no idea why. Okay. But regardless, it's going to... it looks awesome. But it's all starting... My thing I'm most excited for is Thor Ragnarok. It looks amazing.
So that's the next one to come out, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's already released some parts all over the world.
Oh, right.
And by the time this podcast is released, it's probably a year old. So
I don't take that long to edit it.
No, of course not. No. But it will be released in Australia by the time this is out. Because I think it's only like a day or two away.
Okay.
So yeah, it's actually... Thor is... I'm not going to go into a full review or plot line. If you're interested, there's this magical thing called Google. I suggest you try it.
You know that peasants thing, it was actually to stop you from talking down to our listeners all the time?
I would never... I love our listeners.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so I watched the trailer of this Thor Ragnarok.
It's amazing.
And it looks... Okay, so the first thing I thought, I was like, oh, okay, so there's this huge... I don't know, success of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're just trying to, they're changing the normal, quote-unquote, normal ones just to match into that style.
Just to correct you there,
okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was a huge success. Number 2, not so much.
Really?
Well, I mean, it made a profit and everything like that, but it is nowhere near as popular as the first one. But regardless, yes, I understand what you're saying in regards to them trying to take some of that feel, but there's a reason for that. The director of the film is like a free, fun-loving guy, and all accounts of the actors on set had such a great time. Like, literal fun. So many lines in this movie are actually improvised.
Oh, really?
The director's actually a character in the movie. I can't remember his name, though. Yeah, I'll point it out when we go see it. Yeah, he's, they just had such a great time. They had such fun doing it. But
okay.
But the one thing I really look forward to, and I have a major crush on this woman, even more so now, is Lady Galadriel, also known as Cate Blanchett is her real name. Cate Blanchett plays Lady Galadriel, and in Thor, she just looks amazing. You would not guess that this was the Lady in White, the White Witch of Lothlorien and all that type of stuff. This is Hela. She is the goddess of death, and she looks incredible. So,
oh dear.
Funnily enough, just in a brief little tangent here, in Norse mythology, Hel, which is what Hela is based off, Hel, is a child of Loki. And, Loki and a frost giantess. I don't know how that works, but whatever. And they do, the business, and Hela pops out. She becomes, you know what? I'm goddess of the underworld. Boom. Yeah, what are you going to do about that? And then they have other children, Jorgamunda, or whatever his name is, the giant serpent that surrounds the world, and Fenrir, who's my favourite, the giant wolf that will devour the world.
Wow, you know a lot about mythology.
I love my Norse mythology. But anyway, that's how Ragnarok starts, by, I think, Balder getting a mistletoe spear to the chest.
Wait, what is Ragnarok? What does it mean?
Ragnarok is like the end of all things. Like the end of the gods, the twilight of the gods, in fact.
Okay.
And there's amazing parables between Norse mythology, because at the end of Ragnarok, like the lands and everything are covered with water, because there's different. Huge. This is a huge topic, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But at the end of Ragnarok, the land is covered with water and everything like that. The waters subside, go back to Niflheim or Sotur or whatever, and then there's a forest, and 2 humans survive. And then you could say, like, then it moves into Adam and Eve type of stuff. Or, there's just, like, so many cool, like, little bits and pieces. But, I mean, that stuff could have been done when Christianity was prevailing within Scandinavia area and all that fun stuff. But, yeah, I just find Norse mythology is fascinating. I love Norse mythology.
Yeah, so, I mean, it just reminds me of the theory of the monomyth, which is that all the stories that we tell have these intertwined themes in them, or almost to the point where everything is just saying the same thing, like whether it's a story from here or there, whatever, different country or origin, and it all is pointing to the one thing. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
But
this is not NPR or anything like that. This is a random fun podcast, so cue some party music. No, but it's great fun.
I don't have any party music to add there.
You sicken me to my core. Regardless,
Thor Ragnarok,
and why I refuse to die until 2020, when I believe the first. Oh, maybe I should put that for another couple of years, because I want to see Infinity War Part 2, or the Avengers 4 as they're called. So, but regardless, I refuse to die until that happens, because I put too much time and energy into watching all these MCU movies, the good and the bad, and it should be fantastic.
But then you also want to see when they relaunch the whole series, after they finish up all the plot lines.
I'm sorry, but nobody is going to be able to beat Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
Yeah, all right.
Those are literally perfect actors for those roles.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the other side, the Fox side, how Hugh Jackman is stepping down. That's like a tough one, because he's played Wolverine for so long.
Wolverine, yeah.
But they're just going to have to do it. He's pretty much busy all the time doing X-Men movies, because they throw him in every single one.
I think he was in all of them.
Yeah, maybe there's one or two that he wasn't in.
Screen Review Time Warp would know better than us in this, but I'm fairly certain he was in
First Class. But he wasn't in the one after that.
I think he was in First Class. I think I'm pretty sure, like as a cameo, not as a role, but I'm pretty sure he has made an appearance in every single X-Men film.
Yeah, it must. He'd definitely be in the most.
I think, regardless. Anyway, but fun times. I discovered something.
Really?
No, not really. I just figured I'd try to add a little segue there.
Wait, you can't just make up, like, what did you discover, Adam? What did you discover?
I discovered that... so many facts going through my head right now. Caterpillars can secrete cocaine.
Nah, that's not true.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Next.
Before we have to ask why you found that out.
Oh, it was fun. Now, actually, this ties into another topic that we'll talk about later on today as well, surprisingly. But this is a topic you want to talk about, John. It's an excellent series. Why don't you tell us about it?
So, Stranger Things. It is a delightfully well-made series.
I'd agree.
I believe it was completely funded by Netflix. It's kind of their own thing. It's I think it was one of the most successful kind of step up of online distributions in terms of actually producing something.
Oh, that's cool.
And the result was incredible. So, what's it been, a year or two since it came
roughly,
out? And it's all based off of Stephen King novels and
they were inspired by. Yeah.
Sorry, not based off. Inspired by and Steven Spielberg movies. So that old 80s kind of like not just horror but mystery and science fiction, and it's great. And I feel like the cinematography is amazing. The child actors are amazing. So if you haven't seen it, it's really good, and go see it. But the reason we're talking about it now is season 2 is about to come out. Indeed. What were you about to say, Adam?
Well, I was just going to say, sorry, my apologies. Season 1 of Stranger Things premiered on Netflix on the 31st of August, 2016.
Oh, wow. It's only just been over a year.
Yeah.
So as I'm not a budding director, but as a person who's interested in direction, I really like the way they've composed every shot, and the lighting is fantastic, and the color corrections and art style of the film are just really consistent, and that's one of the things I like about it the most.
I personally like that it is dark and creepy as hell.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's fantastic. Like, there was I remember watching an episode, I think it was with my mum, oddly enough, and there was the part where there was this the woman with the glasses. I don't want to spoil anything in case you... But no, in fact, I will spoil it. It's been over a year now. If you haven't seen it, pause the podcast and go and watch the entire series. You won't regret it.
Oh dear, my wife won't be able to listen to this episode.
Well, just pause it for this part. Fast forward. Anyway, the thing... I can't even remember what it was called.
The Demogorgon?
Yeah, the Demogorgon, that's the one. Oh my god, that's so funny. D&D. And anyway, the Demogorgon took the lady with the glasses from the pool and obviously put her in the Upside Down. And yeah, I was just like, that scene was pretty intense. And I was like, oh, this is so good. I love it. It's creepy and fantastic. I love the thought of, like parallel worlds that mirror our own,
and like,
a dark
the pool was
reflections.
Empty in the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Or the Shadow Fell, as it should actually be called. But we'll get to that in a future topic.
Okay, so as a non-D&D player, all of that kind of D&D reference was lost on me. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like the whole series starts off with the 3 young boys who are the main characters playing D&D in the basement of one of the parents' house. Yep. And they all cycle there on their bicycles. So it's like this real nostalgia fest of what it used to be like when you were young and all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Except, I wasn't alive back in like the 60s or 70s, whenever this was the
80s.
It was the 80s. Well, I just got in there with the 89. But regardless, this show did amazing things for D&D. Like, it really popularized it.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it did
make me want to play it.
Yeah, it brought a lot of interest to the topic, and I love D&D. Like, there's a whole bunch of... Well, not a whole bunch anymore, but there's people out there that don't like it for, certain religious purposes, or they don't like it because, there's pretty hectic and dark things in there at times, depending on who your DM is. But this isn't a talk about Dungeons and Dragons yet. This is a talk about Stranger Things. But no, Stranger Things definitely did bring Dungeons and Dragons into the mainstream a bit. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really good. Like, it was like... Yeah, I love it. So good.
Because D&D to me has always been something that nerds play. Well, wait, this podcast is about nerds.
I'm sorry. Our production company is called The Nerdsway.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't go with that argument.
You're fired.
Yeah, I'm gone. Yeah. All right, I'm going to be replaced by Siri.
Bring in the next.
Hang on, where's Siri?
Oh, funnily enough, just before we talk about... Apparently, if you talk to Siri at 3 a.m., stuff gets weird.
Okay, let's try it.
At 3 a.m.,
well,
sorry. Hey, sorry. I meant to talk to Siri. That was an awkward pause. Sorry, John's holding up
Did you accidentally summon me?
Summon? That sounds scary.
Hi, Siri. I command you to summon a Demogorgon.
I don't understand. I command you to summon a demagogue.
Well,
but I could search the web for it.
No, I'm okay. Thanks, Siri.
Can I come back as host now?
Yeah, all right. I agree.
Yeah, so great series. If you haven't watched it, mm-hmm. It's great. It gets that. I
agree. It's fantastic, and it creates such excellent. Not
tension.
Theories. No, not tension. No, it creates like excellent morals, if you will, within the thing. Like the friendship, not betraying one another. It's it's refreshing to see. Like there is. like you see, it's difficult to explain from on my perspective. There's so many shows out there where there's always the inevitable betrayal on shows or things like that, but there wasn't really that on such a grand scale. Like there was that minor type of we're not talking to each other anymore, but they rallied together again, and I just thought to myself, I love it. I love it so much, and I was happy how... not happy how it ended. Actually, I love the cliffhanger ending.
Well, yeah, we're wondering what's going to happen.
With the out of the skin, and so good. Yeah, it's fantastic. But look, the thing I love about it is... In Season 2, the trailer, especially the poster, like the art for the poster, it's very Cthulhian.
Ooh, okay, so
like old gods coming from the sky and stuff like that. Like the tentacles and everything. Have you seen the poster art?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Cthulhian. That's like Cthulhu level stuff. H.P. Lovecraft. So good. Love it.
All right. So we are excited to find out what is going to happen in that series.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so because you pretty much couldn't hold yourself back from talking about it last segment over the top of me, I can't believe you did that again.
Well, that's what I do.
Is it really... Are there two hosts on this show?
No, it's just me.
one? Yeah, just Adam.
A host and an assistant.
As soon as you couldn't resist talking about it, the next topic we're going to talk about is the... Well, I'll let you do it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, okay. I was going to say that's fine, but it is D&D, otherwise properly known as Dungeons and Dragons. Now, John, I've been trying to get you to play this for quite some time, and you have always refused. So, in my mind, you're dead to me. So,
yeah, that's true. I have to hand in my nerd card now.
You do. So, I play Dungeons and Dragons, as you might tell, and it's fun. I'm the dungeon master of my group, although I'm taking a little break at the moment, letting someone else do their campaign. What I love about this game so much is it is such an outlet for creativity.
Yeah, so I came and watched one time, and that's kind of the thing that appeals to me the most about it, is that just pure creativity. Anything can happen. Yeah. It's all in your minds, the minds of the players as well as the dungeon master.
It is certainly a realm completely indulged in the imagination. I've created a full world, like continents, subcontinents, geopolitical structures, all this fun stuff. I mean, I've even gone into... in regards to Stranger Things, right? The realm known as the Upside Down is from I think the first or second, or possibly even third edition of Dungeons and Dragons, which is like a shadow reflection of the world. So, like, dark and mysterious and all this type of stuff. Now, in the current edition, it is called the Shadowfell, where there's, lots of undead and vampires and all these other fun liches that want to, tear your bones out to create a zombie and eat your flesh. I don't know. Whatever.
So pretty much the part of the game they wrote just for you.
Hey, I feel like that is just for me. It's fantastic. I've been waiting to get my party into the Shadowfell for ages. So, anyway...
but it still hasn't happened. You may have...
They got to the life realm, they got to the Feywild, but they didn't get to the... Oh, they sicken me. So...
it's like you put a path and it's like, do you want to take the path that goes down this dark corridor and like there's skeletons everywhere, or this shiny, happy rainbow path?
Yeah, but it bit them in the backside because that shiny, happy path led to the Winter Court of the Feywild, which is... Yeah, because in my world, you've got the Feywild, which is the... it's like a light reflection, natural reflection of the prime material plane, and a lot of these terms are probably going over our listeners' heads.
I've already stopped listening.
That's fair, they probably have as well, but let me just continue talking, and you can continue listening and possibly sleeping. Let me whisper into your ear as you drift off to sleep.
Anyway, so that didn't pay off. Your party...
didn't pay off. They ended up in the Winter Court and talking to the Queen of Winter, and her name is Mab, the Queen of Air and Darkness, and she is basically a demigod in her own right, and she doesn't like people, essentially, and basically she gave them a test to fight an ancient white dragon, which they managed to defeat, and they gained her favour, essentially, for a brief period of time, and not getting skinned alive and hung from the rafters. So, great fun, but... that's neither here nor there. One of the party did get banished back to the plane because they were secretly a werewolf.
Oh, wow.
Ba-ba-bum.
Plot twist.
Werebear, sorry, my bad.
So I like this kind of stuff. It's like things that happen. Because I remember when you first started playing, I used to ask you what happened in the game, and you would describe it to me like a story. And it's interesting because you're talking about real people, like it's friends of mine were also part of the game, and you would talk about them and what they did and decided to do in this like crazy universe. So it's like it's not just a computer game where everything's scripted. It's actually they get to make the decisions.
They've got to make the decisions. I have a set path of what's available, essentially, but that means literally nothing. I have crafted adventure for these guys. And they've just completely gone around it. They've completely missed the point. I've got clues and everything.
It's like a damsel in distress stuck in a tower, and they're just like, it should be fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, for instance, so as I said, I'm taking a break from doing the dungeon mastering because sadly I lost my summary booklet, which contains a summary of all the games we've played and all the hints that I had put in there for future play, and that kind of demotivated me.
Oh wow! So, where is it?
I don't know. Like
someone stole it. One of the players.
No. It wouldn't be any of them. No, I have a theory that when I was going over to one of my other friends' places to play their campaign, it fell out of my car when I was getting my stuff out, and I feel sorry for the person who's picked that up and like read through it because they're going to be real. Like they're like, oh my god, someone's put a severed head under a bed. What is going on here? It was actually quite funny. So, little funny story. Some might find it humorous, others might find it grotesque and a little sad. But yeah, whatever side of the fence you fall on probably says a lot about your personality. So, they've got one of my friends, one of the players. His name is Larry Binkerton, and he's a gnome cleric, and he's now a gnome cleric of death after swearing allegiance to the Blessed Mother of Murder, who's one of the prime deities in my world. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, now I'm starting to get why some people think it's evil.
But no, she's a neutral deity. In fact, like she's against people killing others.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless. So there is another person in the party who his name is Oramus. I can't say his last name, but Oramus, and this is the character's name, and he lost a brother early on in the campaign. One of my players decided that he didn't want to play. That's fine, and so he died, and Larry put a skull underneath Oramus's bed and used this spell to channel being able to talk through it, essentially, as Silhor, who was Oramus's brother, and saying things like, "Why did you leave me to die? You left me alone."
Oh my goodness.
The point of that is they've got to roll like an insight check or arcana check or whatever to try and determine if this is real or what have you. He rolled a natural 1, and so he believed that this was actually his brother. So he's sitting on his bed, like in the dim light, just rocking back and forth, holding this skull, just like, "What? I didn't mean to leave you." It was gorgeous. It was like my favorite. I laughed so hard. It was fantastic.
The absurdity of some of the things that can happen in that game.
Oh, it's amazing. Like you have no idea. One of the characters decided they were going to take a poo on a bar in a town full of cannibalistic gnomes.
What?
Yeah. So you know what the gnome's punishment was?
What?
They hung him in a steel cage over a lava pit for a full day. To roast him alive, to eat him, essentially.
Did the other characters save him?
Yes, and through diplomacy, not through other stuff. But yeah, regardless. It's a brilliant, brilliant game. I highly recommend everyone out there, if, just a couple of resources for those out there who want to see what it's about. There is a YouTube series, I think another podcast now. I think they've released a podcast called Critical Role. It is a fantastic series done by professional voice actors. So they've got... like Matthew Mercer, he is my god. He is amazing. He is the most creative individual on the planet, and his hair is shiny, silky, and smooth. And he does like some amazing voices. He's so good. Anyway, so Critical Role's a good one. If you're not, like, those are 4-hour long episodes sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So they are a bit intense. But they're really good. They've got excellent story. You should watch them. You should play D&D. Unleash your inner nerd and unleash your creativity. Believe me, you won't regret it.
Okay, so Adam, I know how D&D is good for nerds, but I'm going to call you out on this. How is D&D going to help us survive the apocalypse?
Alright, let me think here for a second. Okay, so D&D...
Wow, I got you off guard.
A little. So it would be related to the apocalypse through... Okay, in D&D, it is great. So when you're playing D&D, you've got to role play. All right, you have to become a different person to, properly immerse yourself in the environment to have fun.
Okay.
So perhaps to help survive the apocalypse, you need to create a character. You need to create a persona and slip into that persona when you're going out and swinging an axe into your loved ones' heads. Perhaps there's that. Could also be an escape. So when the apocalypse happens and you're going back to your compound, perhaps you need to unwind, and that is the best escape you can have. Like this, no joke when I say this. D&D and my group got me through an incredibly difficult time. It was, hectic in my life at certain points, and D&D was this awesome foundation in which I could throw everything else away for a few hours and just focus entirely upon being 100 million different characters that I had to impersonate. Like, that's the cool thing about being a dungeon master. You get to do all the voices. It's good fun.
Yeah.
Wow. That's how you survive the apocalypse.
Gee, I was going to say something simple like it helps you to analyze different situations where you might be in danger and learn to strategize. And
okay. If you've ever played D&D with a group of people, there's no strategy involved. Okay. It's just balls to the walls, magic getting flown around, body parts going missing.
Okay, not that useful.
No, it can be.
I will say, though, like you said, it's a good way to unwind. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, like, obviously there's a million different things you can get for the game, but bare bones to play it, all you need is pieces of paper and a die.
Yep.
A few different dies or whatever.
And a book. I recommend getting the player's handbook. Like, you could
keep it in your Apocalypse Go bag.
Oh, yeah, like, you totally could. Like, if you find yourself in a group, like my group, for instance, good luck, but if you find yourself in my group, I have pretty much the Dungeon Master's Manual, the Monster Manual, all that type of stuff. Someone memorizes it is.
Oh, wow.
All you need is the player's handbook, and I can take care of the rest.
Great. All right, good answer.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, I should have done that for Stranger Things 2 on your subject, but whatever.
It's too late. It's like, as soon as the round goes on to the next one, indeed. You can't get me.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So this one is an interesting one that John's going to discuss. I have heard of this once before, or maybe several times before, but that could be why. This topic... Yeah, if you could put some scary music right now.
I don't know if I have something.
You can find out. Well, let's try it again. Ready? Scary music... No. Actually, I did it in. Okay, so scary music right now. Deep within the web, there lies a code that, if discovered, will awaken your mind. It is the situational hypothesis.
Dude, you messed that up. It's the simulation hypothesis.
What, I said the simulation hypothesis, didn't I?
No, you said the situational.
Whatever.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that. Maybe I heard it wrong.
Maybe you did. No, that's all right.
So, the simulation hypothesis. If you've not heard of it, like Adam has...
I have heard of it.
You've heard of it. But maybe there's people out there that aren't nerds and read about every possible reality-bending simulation.
I just need to have power over reality to enslave mankind.
Okay, all right. I'm not worried about that in the least. The simulation hypothesis, if I could get a word in edgewise in this podcast.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear... Go on.
All right, we're renaming this to the Adam podcast.
Surviving the Apocalypse with Adam.
Surviving the Apocalypse Adam's way.
Great.
Okay, so the simulation hypothesis, it's a really interesting one. If you've seen The Matrix or even Inception, like these kind of movies, you've probably heard of it. It's basically the idea that the world that we're living in is not real. It's an example. Maybe it's run by computers, or we're all inside the fevered dream of someone, and we're not real. Mm-hmm. And our consciousness is a mere illusion. Okay, so this is boring. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we might be all in a simulation, right? But as if, right? It feels real, right? Hang on. Can I pinch you? Yeah. No, that doesn't... It doesn't get any reaction out of Adam.
Pain is my friend.
Okay.
Did you feel that?
Woo, that was painful.
That was a pet grab.
Okay. So now I'm fully convinced this is real.
Okay.
Because if it was a simulation...
But who's to say you can't simulate pain?
Yeah, but surely they wouldn't. They just leave it out because it's not fun.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not saying pain is great, but pain does teach you things.
I guess in computer games you can still die and get hurt and stuff, so it grounds you. Anyway, maybe you don't think that you are living in a simulation. So that's what I want to talk about today. There's a way to mathematically not prove it, but almost prove that we are in a simulation.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, go for it.
Now, this would be a lot
Lay
better
down.
if you'd watched the episode of Doctor Who that is in the next series, because it really changes everything. But I can't spoil it for you.
No, don't.
And so I won't spoil it for the audience either. But everyone go watch series 10.
Yes.
9? 10.
10.
All right.
Maybe.
So the way... It's not a proof, but basically there's 3 different possibilities. Because if you think about it, the way technology is advancing at the moment...
Exponential.
It's exponential. We're creating computers that go all the way down to a quantum level and can process and simulate basically anything. In 10 years' time, it's not unreasonable to expect that we'd have some kind of virtual reality that's a lot better than the VR goggles that we have now, that might feel a bit more real. But then extrapolate that out into 1,000 years from now, assuming that we
survive
the apocalypse.
That's if we surprise. Yes, that's if we survive the glorious supreme leader Kim Jong Un's tyrannical crusade against
Excuse
everyone.
me, we can't make this podcast political.
It's not political.
Oh, okay. All right. Everyone.
Everybody doesn't matter. No, North Korea's stuff is literally fair game, I think.
Yeah, well, it's an easy target because apparently they can't download our podcast.
Exactly. So yeah, we're fine.
Oh dear. Okay. Anyway, so political dramas aside, what was that?
Sorry, I just derailed it.
Surviving the apocalypse, Adam's way. There's 3 ways because the rate technology is increasing. 1,000 years from now, there might be simulations that are completely indeterminable. Is that a word? I don't know. Basically, you can't even tell the difference between reality and the simulation. So, if you think about that, throughout the whole of human history, there's a point where we invent simulations that are 100% real. It's more likely, just if you, let's say you throw a dice, what's the chance that you'll hit 1 compared to any of the other numbers? Because history just keeps going on forever into the future, right? Technology, let's say the year 3000, we invent this technology that is perfect simulations. Then, any point after that point, we are just logged into the simulation, right? I'm not sure if I'm explaining this well, but just imagine that when you're born, you roll a die and you could be born at any time, from 0 BC to 1,000 AD, 100,000 AD, whatever.
So I'm not helping you with this at all, because this, you're right, this has become Adam's way, so I'll just let you talk now.
Oh, okay. See, now, what have I done? I've trapped myself. Okay, so, because of that, it's more likely that we arrive after the simulation is good enough that it would feel real. And they might be simulating the year 2000, because that was the glory days. It's like, nostalgia. People in the 2000s had so much fun. Yeah, like Pokemon was invented back then. So there's 3 possible options when it comes to the simulation hypothesis. Are you ready to hear them, Adam?
Go for it.
One of the likely solutions to this simulation hypothesis is that the fraction of human-level civilizations that reach a post-human stage, that is, one capable of running high-fidelity ancestor simulations, which is what we call nostalgia for the 2000s, blah, 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 is very close to 0. So that means that perhaps the world ends before we manage to get there. Or, how do I put this? So there's not a very long period of time, or there's not a very large amount of people that ever make it to that stage. Or The fraction of post-human civilizations that are interested in running ancestor simulations is very close to zero.
Well, when you said it before, when more people are going to be born nowadays, if we're talking about a simulation here, because the simulation feels real. All right. Now, what happens if back in BC times, that there was the high prevalence, and even in medieval times as well, with wild gods, but in those type of times, BC, you've got such a high rate of gods, people being sacrificed to top temples and ziggurats and all this fun stuff. Now, what if, because the simulation was still being developed to a certain extent, there were glitches in the system that made people, giant faces appear in the sky, or these things to, people thought, there's a god. There you go, I've just blown this thing wide.
And it's the same thing with like magic. People found glitches that have now been patched.
Merlin was just a really good programmer.
Oh yeah, he was a hacker.
Yeah.
That's going at the start of the episode. And then the third option is the fraction of all people with our kinds of experience that are living in a simulation is very close to 1. So that's the simulation hypothesis itself, is that it's more likely that we'll end up being someone plugged into a simulation because more of human history is after the simulations exist.
Well, they talk about this not talk about it, they show it as an old Star Trek episode. Sorry, my apologies. There was an old Stargate episode, probably Star Trek as well.
Oh my goodness, you can't say that. You can't get those wrong.
No, I can't. But Stargate, I love Stargate so much. It's so good. Stargate SG-1, where they plugged the world was irradiated. So they plugged themselves into these stasis pods where they could review each other's dreams and go through each other's memories. And it's similar type of thing, but they were aware that they were in a simulation so they could alter their environments and travel between each other's minds. So
this is Inception. Why did he steal the idea from? Oh, wow.
Yeah, except Inception's done really well.
Oh, okay.
Graphically wise. Oh, so good. Leonardo DiCaprio. You're amazing. Anyway, so yes, keep talking, John. Why you can't?
Wait, I was drinking water. Did you do that deliberately?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so good. So yes, I think my apologies. I think this situational... Sorry, rather... See, now you got situational stuck in my head. Thank you.
That was you that said...
Oh, I'm going to...
Simulation hypothesis.
The simulation hypothesis does hold some interesting merits, but what I'd like to know is, how can I, as an individual, with this knowledge, how does this benefit me? Is it just because it's self-awareness? Now, we had this discussion before. Is ignorance indeed bliss, or does knowledge give you the chance for evil?
I have no idea.
Okay, so brilliant. So how does this help us survive the apocalypse, John?
Well, if we extend it further, simulation hypothesis, maybe someone invented this reality. Like I said, it'll take 1,000 years for people to create virtual reality that's realistic enough to look real.
But it's 1,000 years for us. Who's to say it's not an hour for this programmer god who is running the simulation?
Yeah, or even more, maybe what we're seeing right now is a dodgy, bad graphics thing running on an old laptop but someone has. And the real reality that none of us have seen is so incredibly detailed. And maybe things like when you have an eye problem and you can't see, maybe that's just because it's running out of processing power to be able to run it at full resolution.
And I'm not making light of the situation, but once again, delving into different theories on this. What if people like schizophrenia, for instance, or delusional type of psychosis, where they have these really intense, frightening hallucinations, they could be saying things that are beyond our reality or comprehension.
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen some of the drawings done by people suffering from schizophrenia?
No, I haven't.
They are quite frightening.
I imagine so.
Like Cthulhian level, H.P. Lovecraft, not Edgar Allan Poe, but really warped, twisted kind of strange things.
See, this is the kind of stuff you like delving into.
Yeah, personally, because it's creepy. That type of stuff is really interesting, especially when it comes to the mind. It's fascinating. So, your theory on this being able to help us survive the apocalypse is...
Well, I didn't think of this beforehand. I probably should have. Well, in one thing, it may, depending on how you feel about this situation, it's either going to increase the level of fear or decrease it. So my hope is that it decreases it.
Fair enough.
If we're all in a simulation,
it could end at any time.
And the world ends, everything blows up. It's like, you log out and you go, oh, that was fun. That game is over now. Let's do a new one. And then you just load in the next one.
Interesting. So you're saying, okay, interesting thought. Each person alive, are they plugged into their own system? Or is it we're just a computer program? What does this say?
I don't know.
Okay.
But imagine if it is a single-player game. It's funny to think that the real me that's in reality right now would have chosen this exact thing where I'm not a
You've discovered this
successful person.
Yeah.
And it's...
You've played it on hard mode. Well, no.
Yeah, I played it on hard mode.
No, you really haven't. You've played it on, medium to easy.
Yeah, because I'm not in poverty.
You're not in...
I think I played it on,
Somalia, getting your hand chopped off. So, yeah.
Or maybe I am going to get this big break and be successful and live a life of luxury at the end. And that makes it
this
more
podcast
satisfying.
Becomes amazing and the production value goes through the roof. And
hey, what are you saying? That it's not already amazing? Come on.
It's an interesting theory. I like it. I don't believe it because was it I think, therefore I am. Where I can't remember who said it, but I really should probably. But I think, therefore I am is the benchline for sentience.
Fun fact, apparently the full quote is, I doubt, therefore I think, therefore I am.
Oh, okay. Do you know who says it? So that way I don't have to look it up.
Dude, I thought it was Douglas Adams or something. But
I think you're right.
think did he just reuse it? Let's look it up now.
I'm looking it up right now, it's fine.
Who said, I think, therefore I am?
Well, it's Latin, so I don't think it was...
Interesting question, John.
What? Siri, that is not helpful. How did you go finding it out?
Yeah, I've got it. Cogitio ergo sum is a Latin philosophical question posed by René Descartes. There you go. So that's...
So was I right about the doubt thing?
No.
Ah, it wasn't in there.
But Douglas Adams probably expanded upon it. It is literally, I think, therefore I am. But, hold on, I think, therefore I am. Whatever. Anyway, regardless, it's a interesting little thing. But, I mean, harkening back to last week's episode, when we were talking about iRobot, if you recall about that. Now, we do have to make a redaction. Basically a correction here.
Really?
Yes. Our good friend and host of Screen Review Time Warp, Tyson, was listening in. And he screamed and punched the steering wheel and smashed a window. Right. We made an error when we said a series of books published by Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's
incorrect.
One book.
It's yes, essentially. It's not just one book. I think it's a series of short stories and then collected into one or something.
Don't make it wrong again.
Oh no, I said I would because he was not happy. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that series of short stories.
Come on,
and it talks about a fluffy bunny, and it was fantastic. But yes, so Tyson, there's your correction. I hope you're happy, and I love you lots.
Oh wow, we really went off track there. Simulation helps you survive the apocalypse.
Okay, no, there's an interesting little thought there. So if you were... well, just fine, put this sound effect over something. But no, if this was a simulation, that means me going off topic then was a computer-scripted program.
Oh, my word.
Where I had to go off topic.
This is too meta.
We don't have free will.
Oh, and we've lost free will. Oh, man. Let's talk about free will in the next episode. Or will we? We better not, because now it's set in stone. Oh, no.
So next we have...
We have a new segment here on the show, and believe me, this is going to be the crowd favourite. Everyone's going to love this section.
It was very random how this came about. So basically, John and I just do this podcast so that way we can meet up beforehand and go out to dinner.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's face it. So we were out to dinner, and delicious meal. You've probably heard us take short breaths here and there because
we've got the carbohydrate overload.
I had a ton of chili and everything. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to die. So we had a lovely meal. And we went to pay, and there's this awesome server, and we were chatting to her, and she's like, oh, what have you got planned for tonight? And it was very kind of awkward during the meal, because at times we were sitting close and we're talking about the podcast and everything like that. And at one stage we decided we were going to play Thumb Wars because we were waiting for dinner and there was nothing else to do. So we're in the middle, we're holding hands in the center about to play Thumb Wars, and one of the different server lady comes up and she's looking at us oh, isn't that sweet? Oh, two lovely young men. I'm just Yeah, we're just playing Thumb Wars, okay? We're adult men, we're playing Thumb Wars, is that a problem?
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it is, but it was fun. Anyway, so we went up to pay, and there was this lovely lady. Her name is Lana, I believe it was. Lana?
Was it Lane?
Lene?
Oh my goodness, how have we forgotten?
No, I think it's Lene. I think it's Lene. Lene. Yes, that sounds about right. Because I've got Laana, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, so we're talking to Lene, and we said to her, oh, yeah, so we're doing this podcast, and it's fun, it's crazy, it's called, Surviving the Apocalypse the Nerd's Way. And just as a random thing, I said, oh, what would you like us to talk about today? What is a topic you would like to hear spoken about on our podcast? And she said...
Well, she said, what about if, in the future, instead of just having your Zomato or your Urban Spoon or your, what do they call it? Yelp. So there's all these websites that exist where you can rate restaurants and say, oh, the service was like this, the food was like that. What about if we flip it on its head and we have... the servers can rate the people at the restaurant.
So it's like a reverse Uber.
Yeah, well, even in Uber, I don't know if you know this, but you rate the what's the beeping? On Uber, you rate the driver, and then the driver also can rate you, but you can't see the rating that you're given. Anyway, so I mean, it's not unreasonable. There's a precedent. Maybe in the future, were you timing that?
No.
Okay. So, but what I found most interesting about this interaction is I was like, when she suggested, servers should be able to rate the customers.
They should. I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
I asked her, so how are we rating? And she
shrugged a little. Yeah, she shrugged a little. But that wasn't in reference to us.
Oh man, I think we're in trouble. I think she's going to give us 1 star.
Oh, we can't go back there. But I like the idea because people are so entitled nowadays.
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe you put a tiny bit extra cheese.
Yeah.
And I was like...
oh man.
Because today I didn't want bacon, I wanted cheese... I wanted chicken on my pizza. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I was too scared to order it because I was like, I don't want to make a big deal out of this. But she was totally cool about it.
She was just like,
I just don't want to come across as one of those people who's like, oh my goodness, like, you have to do everything.
Joe, I don't think you could really present yourself that way, even if you got a face tattoo that's like just covered in profanities. People would still see you as the innocent puppy you are. It's okay.
I just can't change it. It's part of who I am.
That is, and it's good. So the server was just awesome. She was great, and I like to bring a bit of fun into, the service environment for these people. So often I'll go through drive-thrus as we did on the way home. And
I've had lots of experiences of this.
It's fun, and they, depending on the person you get, they'll mostly enjoy it. So it didn't work too well this time, but like one of the last times we did it, we're going in, and I put on a very thick, heavy British accent. And I'm like,
British old man. Yeah, it's my favourite accent of yours.
Oh boy, I must say, come I'd like to order a Whopper and a quarter pounder if you'd be so kind. Yes, indeed. Yes, for the Queen. So,
that is literally how he ordered it this time. Yeah. So he orders it at the
intercom.
At the intercom, and then we drive forward and we get to the next window. I think it was the next window, and literally. People had started coming in around and looking and laughing and
but it wasn't I went on a bit of a rant when I was talking about it, so they had time to do it. It wasn't just a quarter pounder please or anything like that. It was a bit more in depth, like yes, and Queen, and can I get a couple of sugars and that if it'd be so kind. Yes. So all that fun stuff. But
this must have been late, like midnight or something.
I think it was a bit late. It wasn't during peak hour. I wouldn't do that type of stuff in peak hour.
So it was good. I think it brightened up their night. Late shift Maccas, it's not...
And that type of stuff is, I think, what people should do a bit more. These people are working to serve you. They might not be having the best night. Cut them a bit of slack, What's it cost you? Patience is a virtue.
And I reckon they would have rated you 6 stars that day.
Out of 100.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that, Liana, for that topic. And
I'm pretty sure that's
no, it wasn't
not
Liana. No, Lana. I'm going to say Lana, just for the sake of it, and I apologise so much if I got that incorrect.
Yes, please comment on our Facebook page if you end up listening to this and correct our pronunciation.
Yeah,
I'm
tweet
sorry.
us.
It actually has been a little while of research and stuff in between the dinner and recording, so...
Yeah. Sorry.
We're definitely going to start now.
I do say, oh boy, that I apologise for this preposterous type of nonsense, and I'll have the boy whipped. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that was dramatic.
So, now for our favourite segment of the podcast. Sit back, relax, because you're about to be inundated with delicious, delicious tunes.
Our latest tune is, for today, a returning artist for his new single that was released last Saturday. Well, this is from when we recorded, so whenever John puts this episode out. John, what's the name of the episode?
You mean the song?
The song.
Okay, the song is Awaken from Dark Slumber.
It sounds really ominous, and I love it already.
It sounds like this song was written exactly for you.
Indeed, and it probably was. Frankie, I love you. And listen to... go to SoundCloud, Frank Echo. He's got his new single out. He's got some awesome stuff on his SoundCloud. Listen, love it, enjoy.
heart is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked. Who can know it? I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, and according to the fruit of his doing.
And that was Frank Echo's new single, Awaken from Dark Slumber.
Sexy.
I really like how he's experimenting with halftime now. It really gets that new kind of pop kind of sound that people are always trying to listen to. Instead of the old days where every song was like full tempo, crazy fast, it's now slowing down and gives you more of a chance to experience the song. It's good.
I liked... I don't know what... It sounded like a string instrument about halfway through, or maybe piano. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just like that. I like when, with these type of heavy electronic type of music, these type of songs, and you have just a single instrument that stands out, and it brings out emotion in me. It's very evocative. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's
so
really good.
Thank you for that, Frank Echo. Love it. Check it out. Live it. Love it. Boom.
I like how we've gone full circle. We've already run out of
artists. Hey, oh my goodness! I just inhaled something. Oh, it's a spore. It's a sentient plant. It's trying to get it. Oh, it's trying to spread. It's okay. Sorry. That's a throwback, isn't it?
Sentient plant. Go back and listen to episode 2 or 1
or something, because crazy sentient plant. But yes. Wow. Sorry, what was that? Yes. If you're an artist that listens to the podcast and wants to have their music plugged, please contact us and let us know. And I must say, I love some of the artists we've had on our show.
Oh.
Like Josh Blackwell. His, was it The Voice of a Nomad, the album?
Yeah,
that was
the Wayward Daughter. Was
but like amazing melodies in there. And I have to say, like, my personal favourite thus far has been Dazed by Justin McLean on episode 6.
Jason McLean, last episode.
Oh, I've listened to that so many times now. It's fantastic.
It's a really good song.
If you haven't heard it, go back, listen to it. It is great.
While we were eating dinner, Adam proposed this interesting hypothesis to me. Don't worry, nothing about simulating the world and confusing everyone. It's much simpler. Now, basically, I think... Why don't you explain it?
Okay. The world is going through a crisis currently. It is separated, and there's controversy surrounding identity and how one identifies one's self. So... be it through gender, race, whatever. You know what? I've got the perfect solution. And it is off pop culture. Everybody loves it. And if you don't, well, you're obviously soulless and you'll be purged from society when I rise to power and rain blood down from the skies and have a throne of skulls! Or alternatively...
that counts as a peasant thing because you called everyone.
Oh, alright, fair enough. Anyway, so...
and also you busted out everyone's eardrums.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, easiest way to erase these identity problems is... we identify each other from our Hogwarts house.
Oh, wow.
Yep, indeed.
I think you've just solved all political problems in one fell swoop.
You know what? There's not going to be problems in the Middle East because, hey, they're going to be separated into houses. There may be house wars, but that's going to be on a smaller scale, I can assure you.
Great. So now we're going to have 4 factions that fight to the death.
I have
Except for Hufflepuff, because they wouldn't lift a finger against anyone.
They just want to eat. They're fine. Hufflepuffs are awesome. I'm not a Hufflepuff. So, John, what house are you?
Now, I didn't actually know this.
You had to ask your wife.
I sent a message to my wife because she did the Pottermore quiz. Like, she asked me the questions and she ticked the boxes, etc. Apparently, I am a Ravenclaw.
I think that's definitely suited.
Yeah.
You're an intellectual. You are... You're in the realm of the mind.
I always thought that I'd be Gryffindor, but I think someone pointed out that Gryffindors are willing to break the rules to get stuff done.
For the greater good, they're chaotic good.
For the greater good, right, but I'm too...
lawful.
Like, do things... lawful, right, D&D stuff anyway.
Boom. I love it.
So I want to make things... do things the right way as well as doing the right thing, and that's why I end up in Ravenclaw instead.
That's fair.
So I don't think anyone needs to question. If you've read Harry Potter, you know which house Adam is in.
You know which house I'm in. You know it. Slytherin. The pure blood house.
There wasn't a bad wizard that didn't come from Slytherin.
Yes, except a lot of the good wizards also came from Slytherin. So, for instance, Merlin... creator.
really?
Creator, was from Slytherin, and that's the Order of the Melon.
Wait, so Salazar comes before Merlin?
Yes, Salazar Slytherin.
See, I don't know anything about Harry Potter.
There's notable wizards that come from Slytherin. Thank you very much, kind sir. And
Harry Potter was supposed to go in Slytherin.
Yes, well, it came down to a choice. Slytherin is meant to be cunning. It's intelligence. It's
all right. So it's not just evil.
No, it's not just evil.
That's what I immediately turned to. I was like, Adam, yep, definitely evil.
Yeah.
Slytherin.
It's there. I'm not evil. Rain blood down from the skies and have a throne of skulls. No, I'm evil. That's fair.
What about the other ones, like the French one and the
English?
Ukrainian?
English. Because Harry Potter is in English. You're talking about the Beauxbaton Academy.
Yeah.
And
I'll be impressed if
Dernstrom.
Yeah. Well done.
Wow.
That is incredible.
But however, there's actually American. I can't pronounce Livermore or something like that.
Okay.
And they've got houses as well, which is quite good.
Okay,
I
so
did that.
maybe we'll have more houses than just 4. But let's just go with the English ones.
Let's just go with the English one. That's the baseline.
Original flavour chips are the most delicious, and the original houses are the best.
Mm-hmm. Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw. Let us know what you are in the comments below, so that way I can mock you relentlessly, unless you're a Slytherin, in which case I'll add you as a friend.
I think I will tie that back to the apocalypse, and that is you have somehow prevented the apocalypse. And they always say prevention is better than cure. So well done, Adam. We can now close off the podcast. We did it, guys.
We saved it. That's it. This is the last episode.
Last episode. Until plot twist, there's going to be a cliffhanger at the end of this episode, and you have to come back and watch the next season.
Listen to the next season. We have audio.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we're not a dramatic
audio medium, yeah.
Apocalypse TV show.
But yes, so Harry Potter, houses, love it. Boom. Please edit those noises.
Let's call it.
Okay.
We are over time. It's past my bedtime.
That's fair. I'm a night owl regardless. But that was fun. Thank you for hosting once again, John. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah.
We hope you enjoyed the sound quality this time. We hope it is more soothing to your ears or to your car speakers or whatever you're listening to this on. Maybe you're listening on an old gramophone, in which case, how did you manage to convert it to
That's impressive.
Like to a
If you've
disc?
done that, I think you're my new god. That would be impressive.
Okay, well.
Oh my.
But yes, so we've got new microphones. We hope you enjoyed a lot. If it's a little bit worse, we'll chalk that up to probably we're just not used to them yet. So we're still learning how to podcast. But hopefully in the next episodes we'll have a lot better sound instead of it sounding like we're literally talking in a bathroom or something like the first episode sounded.
I'm loving these two microphones because of two reasons. A, I'm not close enough to make out with you.
Yeah, that's
You're not in my
good.
personal space, which is fantastic because, you know, if someone walked in at the wrong time, they'd get the wrong idea. Much like the thumb war waitress, you know.
Oh no! So we're just talking about it. Adam loses his microphone.
What can I say? I'm a flamboyant type of person that likes to move his hands around a lot. But yes, anyway, regardless, it was a pleasure talking with you this evening.
I think you forgot the last reason why the microphone was good.
Well, the last reason the microphone is good is, you know, basic sound quality. It will become better.
Because I thought you were going to say that you enjoy whenever I turn around to look at the computer and adjust the sound, you immediately just scream into the microphone to scare me to death.
It does work, I must admit.
Ouch, my poor ears. So the next episode, if I've edited it so it's really loud, what that is because Adam's destroyed my hearing ability, and so I keep turning the volume up during editing to compensate.
It was fun. So thank you very much for tuning in and listening tonight or today, whenever you're listening. It has been a pleasure serenading your eardrums with this wonderful podcast. If you want any questions answered or have any queries, comments, or hate mail, please send it to thenerdsway@gmail.com or tweet us at thenerdsway. Sorry, nerdsway. Is it the or
the nerdsway?
It is the nerdsway _. The nerdsway _pod at Twitter.
And guess what? We now have a Facebook official URL.
Oh,
we
do
are
we?
now popular
Oh my goodness!
enough.
I didn't know that.
It is incredible. Are you ready for this?
I am.
I'm just getting it up because I have forgotten. Okay, let's see. Nerdsway.
And while he does this,
Surviving
I shall
your pocket-
sing to you.
Don't sing that.
Too bad.
I can't order you that. So it's facebook.com/thenerdsway.
There you go. So Facebook /The Nerds Way. Check us out, like us, love us, do whatever you need to bring that sweet, sweet embrace of longing to your heart, whatever, and it'll be fantastic. And yeah. John, you want to do the sign off? Because I refuse to do it now.
Until next time, don't forget to keep your go bag ready, packed with books, DVDs, and a D&D player's guide. And don't forget to download all episodes of our podcast onto your MP3 player, just in case you get some spare moments and you need some advice in the apocalypse. You can listen to hours and hours of our rambling and get a tiny little bit of tidbit of wisdom.
A little bit of knowledge. It's fantastic. So I'll sing us out if you don't mind.
Yes, I do mind.
Oh. Love and marriage, it goes together like
He's
a
just stood
horse
up
and
and now he's-
carriage.
oh, wow.
Dad was
I
told
should have filmed
by
this.
mother, you can't have one without the other. End.
Okay, I was wrong. That was definitely a good way to end the podcast.
Oh, great. Love it.
Thank you for listening. If you wish to get in contact with us, please see to the others.
I never do the intro.
Well, congratulations. You're moving up in the leagues. I've promoted you to intro expert now.
Hello and welcome to...
No, try again.
Oh, come on.
And welcome to...
Surviving the apocalypse. God save the sovereignty.
That was
That
loud.
was so loud.
Oh my gosh.
I can say, oh boy, that I apologize for this preposterous type of nonsense, and I'll have the boy whipped. Ah, yes.